Namaste. We're going to look at similar postures to what we have done in the last week. Don't worry, Neil, we will recap everything. And as always, there'll be options, so you take the class at your own pace, what's right for you. Particularly this week, I want to introduce the idea of working with the core muscles. So something that we try to do all the time in yoga, and sometimes it can just leave our head and everything's a bit relaxed, and that's fine sometimes, but the core muscles, which are this band of 12 different muscles all around our torso, support the spine. So if we've slightly engaged those muscles, whether we're moving the spine in different directions or whether we're trying to keep it straight, it's going to support the spine. So core muscles, people think tummy, okay? That's just tiny part of it. In fact, the the abdominal muscles, all they really do is help us round back. If we want to do anything else, we're using different muscles. So core muscles are around the hips, around the glutes, so the buttocks, the pelvic floor muscles, so the ones that go between the hips side to side and front to back, pubic bone to tailbone, they want to be sort of lifted up to engage them. And muscles around the sides of your ribs and the back. The back often gets forgotten about, but we've got these muscles that go between the vertebrae, the erector spinae, and they are going to really help support it. So this idea of having like a girdle around us that we're cinching in, not to get the tummy flat, but just to support the spine. So we're going to try and work with that a little bit today. First of all, let's establish ourselves in our practice. So find yourself a comfortable way to sit. Do take a cushion or a block underneath the sit bones. If that helps, just to lift the pelvis up a little and tilt it. It might relax the legs. Don't have to be cross-legged, of course. And then lift the spine up, lift the crown of the head up to the sky, and drop the gaze or close the eyes. And let's bring our attention to the breath. Breathing in, breathing out, noticing how the breath is. Feel yourself arriving in your yoga practice whilst you do this. Starting to take conscious control of the breath now, using the inhales and exhales to lead you into this deeper space, calm space. Letting the belly swell on the inhales, the ribs lift out to the side and the chest rise. Feeling the exhale, relaxing everything, and draw the belly in at the last point of the exhale to push the air out. Nice, deep, slow breath. Letting the exhale be a little longer than the inhale if you can. Feel the shoulders drop away from the ears. Signal to the body as everything is okay. You can be totally in the present moment. This next hour is yours. Bring your hands to your heart. Take a nice deep breath in there. Link the fingers together and push them away on the exhale, rounding your back, dropping your head. And then inhale as you lift the hands up. Exhale as you let the fingers separate. Bring the hands shoulder height and stop there. Good. If you can, flexing the fingers, so pushing out through the ball of the hand, base of the palm. Feeling those muscles engage in your arms. And if the wrists and fingers are uncomfortable, use this opportunity to give them a good wriggle, a nice circle, get rid of all those little crackles and pops. And then if you can, push out. If that's uncomfortable, then use straight fingers or drop the hands a little. Good. So draw the spine up tall, neck up tall. Inhale. On the exhale, we're going to drop the right shoulder over towards the right ear. Keeping the hands where they are if you can. Feel something happening down the side of the neck, along the arm. Let the head be heavy. Good. And then inhale, lifting the arm up, placing the right hand lightly on the ear, reaching down with the left hand. You can either touch the mat or reach the fingers in the direction of the mat. We're not pushing or pulling the head, just encouraging that stretch. Breathing into wherever you feel the tightness. Exhale, take you into that stretch a little deeper. Going to use an inhale, exhale to change the position into a side stretch for the body. So inhaling the hands up in the air, exhaling, come over. So touching the right hand to the mat, the left hand is extended up in the air. And if this is uncomfortable, the hand can come to the hip. We're trying to breathe into this left side of the body, the left lung. Keep those sit bones planted on the floor. Press them down so you're lifting away from them. Good. And let's flip it over the other side. Next time you inhale, lifting the arms up and over to a side bend on the other side. You can have the legs out in front of you doing this, it's fine. Breathing into the other side of the body. Softening the left elbow takes you a little deeper. And then next inhale, we're going to rise up, touch the hands together, and bring them back to the heart space. Now deliberately change the cross of your legs if you've got your legs crossed. They're out in front. If you want to adjust the position, that's fine. And we'll do that on the other side. Hands to the heart. Nice deep breath in. Link the fingers, push them away, round the back, drop the head. Inhale, lift the hands to the sky. Exhale, take them out to the side. Stay there for 2 breaths. You drop the shoulders away from the ears while pushing through the hands as though you're pushing walls away from you. Ready this time to drop the left ear to the left shoulder. So inhale, lengthening through the neck. Exhale. So you're pouring water out of that ear. Feel where that stretch appears down the side of the neck. Using the breath, moving mindfully, you can turn this left palm up as we take the arm up and over, resting the hand gently on the ear, and now stretching the right hand away. Imagine you're breathing up through the crown of the head, breathing down through that extended arm into the sit bone, into the floor. Taking it fully into the side bend now, inhaling up, exhaling over. Softening the elbow gives you a little more stretch. Ready to flip it over. Use your inhale, exhale. There's no rush. You can go faster or slower than me. Directing the breath into the side of the body where you're feeling that stretch. So imagine you could just breathe into the left lung, letting it expand and contract. Last breath. Inhaling on the next breath, rise up. Bring the hands down. Good. Oh, I've just remembered I'm going to turn my light on. Might be able to see me a little bit better now. So let's take the hands to the knees. Again, you can have the knees bent with the feet flat on the floor if you prefer. And if you've got the legs crossed, you might want to choose to change the cross of the legs again. And we'll do our seated cat-cow. So inhaling, lifting the heart, lifting the gaze and the nose up. Exhale, draw the belly back to the spine, round the back, drop the head. Inhale, lift the heart, lift the gaze, fill the back heart. Exhale, drawing the belly in. Starting to get an idea of the movement of the spine. And then we're going to see, over the next few postures, we can bring this idea of core support into our movement. So next time you're in your cat stretch, so with the back rounded, the chin dropped, and there's no rush to get there, I want you to stay in it for a few breaths, tilting the pelvis back as far as you can without rolling over backwards. So really to that point where you feel you're going to tip over. And this should give a nice stretch to the muscles running down the spine. Let the head be heavy so the neck gets that stretch at the back as well. And then bend the elbows and see if that stretch increases a little more. Keep breathing, nice and deep and slow. Good. And then rise up, come back to a neutral stance on the inhale, and take your legs out in front of you. So you're welcome to still sit on your block at this point, or cushion if you've got one. Extending the legs out and keeping the toes pointed up to the ceiling, so flexed feet. We're going to do forward fold. First of all, using a wave-like motion to come in and out of the posture, and then holding it for a few more breaths. If you want to lift the flesh away from underneath you, just to make that good connection with the floor, that helps. And the knees can be a little bit soft, especially to start with. So I'd rather you have bent knees and try and keep the back long than rounding the back more, but trying to keep the legs straight. So let's inhale the arms up. Exhale, take the arms and the heart forward, bowing over into your forward fold, and then bring the hands back along the floor, lift them up on the next inhale. So like a wave, crashing onto the beach, then feeding back into the water. The knees can bend and see if they'll straighten again. Exploring this movement. The next time that the hands come down towards the legs and you bow forward into your forward fold, stay there. Let the hands either rest at the sides of your legs on the floor, or they can rest on top of the legs, whatever more comfortable. And then deliberately bend the knees and extend the spine on the inhale. Try and straighten the legs as you bow down on the exhale, trying to keep that length in the back as best you can. 3 more times. So bending the knees, lifting the chest a little, feel the back can straighten, and then extending the legs out as you bow forward, feeling the whole of the back of the body opening into this posture. Last slow breath to finish. Bowing down. And then we're going to lift up using the hands. So let the knees be a little bit soft. Start lifting the hands. Then the upper arms come level with ears, head. Good. And bring the hands down by the side. Okay, let's get this core engaged. So if you come to lying on your back with the knees bent, feet flat on the floor, and if you can, place one hand or both hands under the but there'll be a natural arch that you can feel where your back lifts off the floor. Place the fingers under there. And what we're going to do, on an inhale, we're going to breathe in, let the tummy and everything be relaxed. On the exhale, we're going to try and engage our core muscles. So we're going to try and squash our fingers. To do this, we're going to contract the pelvic floor muscles, draw them up and inside. Maybe you'll feel the buttocks engage, the sides of the tummy engage, of course the front of the tummy, then release and relax on the inhale. Once you've got the feeling of that the back flattens onto the floor, washing your fingers on the exhale, then you can take the fingers away and rest them either on your hips or down on the floor beside your hips. And we're going to rock the pelvis gently forward and back. As we breathe out, pelvis rocks back and we lift everything up, engaging the core muscles. As we breathe in, top of the pelvis rocks forward a little, the back arches more, and all the muscles relax. We're trying to feel this idea of the core engaging. Like a biscuit barrel, we've got the diaphragm at the top of the barrel and the pelvic floor at the bottom of the barrel, and then all around the sides of the biscuit barrel, all around your torso are these muscles which are toning, they're engaging. I don't want to say squeezing because that suggests tension. So we're trying to bring in an idea of muscle engagement without squeezing and holding really tight. So notice if you feel the buttocks clench a little. Maybe you feel the thighs engage, they're working. And up around the sides of the body, we've got these oblique muscles that crisscross. You've got your erector spinae down the spine at the back. And of course, you've got your six-pack, the rectus abdominis at the front of the body. So we're using all of these muscles together. Good. And then relax. You've got the choice to come up. You can roll onto your side and press yourself gently up. Or if you want to test out these core muscles, you could cross your ankles, grab hold of your big toes, and use an inhale, exhale, squeeze in all those core muscles to bring you up to seated. And it doesn't matter if that doesn't work. You've got an idea of those muscles that you need to use to do that, and that's something to work on over the next few weeks if you want to. It's only a bit of fun. It doesn't matter if you never do that. But that's the idea, to support the spine and use that strength. That's our core muscles. Okay, now let's bring the feet together and have the heels a comfortable distance away from the hips so that you can keep the spine nice and upright. And we're going to flutter the knees. So get a little bit of movement into the knees. You can hold on to shins, ankles, or feet. And then I want you to take the legs out nice and wide to the sides. So we're aiming for a right angle. You'll be able to tell when the legs have gone wide enough to say, yeah, that's my right angle for today. And I want you to flex the toes, because if the feet are all relaxed, it's a little bit easier to get this width. But then as soon as we engage flex the toes and engage these muscles, it might feel a little bit tighter. So if we were going to sit here for 10 minutes, I want it to be bearable. We're not. We're going to do one leg at a time. So to start with, bring the right foot in to the thigh, like a sort of setted tree pose. And we're going to take a side bend over this left leg. So place the left hand on the left leg. Inhale, lift the right hand up, and over we go to the side. We're not facing the left leg. We're trying to aim our head towards the toes. And you can take the hand to the heart if this helps you spin the heart towards the sky a little more. Get you into that side bend rather than bending forward. And if the arm and the shoulder are uncomfortable, again, take the hand to the hip and breathe into the side stretch. Try and send the bent knee down to the floor and try and extend the spine with every inhale and soften into the stretch on every exhale. Last deep breath for this side. On an inhale, let the hands float up again, come upright, bring the hands down to the floor, and take that left leg back out. So find your edge of your stretch for your wide-legged seated pose, and then bring the left foot in towards the right side. Let it settle. If you want to grab a block or a cushion to place under that knee, if that makes it more comfortable, now's the time to get that. Sitting nice and upright. Right hand ready to slide down the right leg. Inhale, lifting the left hand up and over we go. Thinking sideways rather than forward. Again, thinking about the water pouring out of the ear. You can look sideways. Unless that's uncomfortable on your neck, you can always look down. Try and keep these right toes flexed. And imagine one day that this hand is going to reach over and touch those toes without bending forward. Again, the heart spins towards the sky. That keeps us in the side bend. Hands can be on the hip if you want to. Breathe into this. So we're trying to open on the inhale, bend, and then soften on the exhale. Use the breath to take you into the posture. One more deep breath. Rising up on the inhale, hands coming down on the exhale. Lovely. And shake the legs out, bring them together in front of you. Next posture, 2 options. So it's reverse tabletop. So if you want to, I'll show you the 2 options first. Hands come behind you in this M shape, and we lift the hips up into this reverse tabletop pose. If the wrists and arms aren't going to like that, then we can get the same feeling of lift in our bridge pose, where we have the back on the floor to start with, and we lift the hips. Now the thing is, in bridge pose, it's a bit easier to cheat, use the legs and lift the hips up. What I really want you to do is get the feeling of the core muscles. You have to promise, if you're doing bridge pose with the back on the floor, that you're using these core muscles to do the lifting today, supporting the spine, okay? The back shouldn't hurt doing this. So let's get our hands then ready if you're going to do reverse tabletop. Fingers point forward or out to the side, whatever is more comfortable. Try and get the wrists under the shoulders, and the feet are hip width apart, so everything's in line. Lift the chest, get the, if you're lying down, get the head nice and relaxed on the floor. And then on the inhale, the hips come up. And we're looking for a nice flat tabletop, or a slope, a flat slope if you're in bridge pose. So look down your tabletop and see if it's straight, or if I put a tray of drinks down, if they would go tipping all over the place. See if you can lift the hips a little more. Keep breathing. Exhale, come down. Now that you've got the idea of that, I want you to really use the core muscles to support this posture. So we're going to come up again for 3 breaths. So if you want to change your mind and lie on the floor, that is fine. You know how the posture feels. So pressing into the feet, pressing into the hands. Inhale, engaging all the core muscles as we come up. On that exhale, then you can draw in the pelvic floor, squeeze the glutes a little bit. The thighs will be working all around the tummy, the hips, side of the ribs is working. Deep breath. You might feel a little trembling, maybe in the belly, maybe in the legs. Okay, as long as it's not violent trembling, this is all good. One more big breath if you can. And then releasing down. So trembling is the muscles going, what the heck are you asking me to do here? So we don't want to keep that going for too long, but a little bit of a challenge for them is all good. So give your knees a hug. And then we're going to have a look at these core muscles as we tilt ourselves backwards with the feet on the floor, knees bent, hands are resting lightly on the knees. Going to inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, start leaning back, and use those core muscles to control this movement and to bring you back up again. Inhaling up. Twice more like that. Inhaling at the top, keeping the heart lifted. Exhale, allowing the back to round a little as you come back. Draw the belly towards the spine a little bit to finish the breath. Inhale up again, nice and controlled. Just feel an engagement around it, okay? It's completely different doing it without the core engagement. So one more time. Feeling the thigh muscles, the hip muscles, that pelvic floor engaged. Lifting up. And then this time you can ease yourself slowly all the way down to the floor. Okay, if the back starts complaining, you can put your hands down, but see how far you can get. Rolling down to the floor, and then have a hug of the knees, draw them in, and a little rock and roll for the back. And then again, it's up to you. You can roll over onto your side and press yourself up, or you can try again holding onto the big toes and flipping yourself up. Come round to a normal tabletop position where we've got hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Lovely. Spine in line to start with. And then we're going to circle torso. So let the belly drop down towards the floor, the back arch a little. Take it out to the right hand side. I'll get it opposite way to you. And then draw it up, over and round. Releasing the muscles as the belly drops towards the floor. Engaging the core muscles as we circle up, rounding the back, rocking the back. 3 times round this way. And then when the belly is towards the floor, pausing. And 3 times slowly and mindfully round the other way. Feeling the muscles engage and relax. Good. Once you've done your 3 turns, relaxing the tummy muscles, and let's walk into puppy dog. So taking the hands forward onto the mat, bowing the head down, the hips are staying up in the air, and we get that lovely long stretch in the back. Can you draw in those core muscles, those abdominals, just slightly, little engagement. Keep this work going during our other postures. You can either stay now in puppy dog for a bit longer, or walk the hands back towards you, not quite underneath the shoulders, and we'll come into downward facing dog. Tucking the toes, inhale, exhale, lifting the hips, keep the knees bent, and find that long spine that you just had in your puppy dog. Find that first of all, push the hands into the mat, and then you can start extending the legs out. The heels will draw down towards the floor. And then I want you to deliberately bend the left knee and press into the right heel. Press the right heel towards the floor to stretch out the back of that right leg. If you're kneeling, then take the right foot back behind you, toes on the floor, and you can get that same feeling by pushing the heel back. Another deep breath. And then swapping it over. So inhale, you're bending the right knee, and exhale, pushing through that left heel. Try and keep the length in the back. The head stays relaxed. You can always come down to kneeling and do it kneeling, or come in and out of the posture. Remember to keep pushing through the hands, hips going up to the sky. Good. And then bending both knees. Start walking the hands, walking the feet towards the hands. Coming into a forward fold at the front of your mat. Feet can be together or hip width apart for more stability. Let the head hang loose. So bend the knees a little and shake the head gently, yes and no. Then bring the hands to the shins and lift up on an inhale halfway. So come into a half forward fold so that the back is long and the heart's parallel now to the floor. Nice big inhale there at the top. And then exhale as you fold forward. The knees can bend if you want to. Let the head and the hands relax down. And we're going to take a breath here in our forward fold. Bend the knees, inhale. Let the belly touch the thighs. See if you can glue the belly to the thighs as you exhale. Feel a stretch as you straighten your legs, put the hips up, head down. One more time like that. So bend the knees, hands to the shins. Inhale, come up to half forward fold. Lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold into your forward bend. Knees can release. Inhale. Tummy to the side. We're going to try and glue that stomach onto the thighs as we exhale. You might feel a real stretch in the back of the legs as you lift the hips. Little shake maybe depending how tight your hamstrings are. And then release. Bend the knees. Slowly, slowly on an inhale, push down into the feet and start rolling up. Rising up slowly. When your shoulders come up, roll them back. Roll of the shoulders, coming up to standing in Shavasana. The palms are facing the front, wide across the chest. You can close your eyes or soft gaze down at the floor. Stabilize yourself again. Feet can be together or hip width apart. And breathe. Feel grounded, anchored. Scan through the body and see what you can find, any sensations that are there. Maybe some of the muscles that we don't usually use are talking to you. Maybe you can feel some of the muscles around the core that have done some work. I'm going to see if we can keep this idea of engaging these core muscles and using them for stability, taking them now into our warrior. So take a turn to your left and take a nice big stride as wide apart with the feet as your legs are long. Turn the right foot to the top of the mat and adjust the left heel backwards a little for stability. Inhale, open the arms up shoulder high. Exhale, bend the front knee, come into warrior two. Okay, so establish yourself in this posture. Check that the feet are lined up, either heels in line with the arch of the back foot or heels in line with the back heel. If you want to, take the hands to the hips. The gaze is proud and strong ahead of you. The arm is extended, it's looking down the middle finger of that front hand. Sink the hips down with every exhale. If you find the knee is going way forward of the toes, you can wriggle that foot forward. Tuck the tailbone down. The shoulders are staying above the hips. Engage the core muscles and feel the stability that goes through the legs, through the torso and spine as you do that. If this light engagement feels strong, press down through the feet. One big inhale here. On the exhale, bend your right arm, bring it to the right thigh. Take the left hand to the hip and you're in side angle. Again, spinning the heart around to the side. So we're not facing forward, we're trying to turn to the side. And you can stay here exactly as we are, or you can experiment with lifting the top hand up, maybe even over the ear. Press into that back foot. Have you lost that core engagement? See what happens when you fire up those muscles. The posture becomes a lot stronger, the spine feels straighter. Everything should be engaged. This front hand and arm, it's not just flopping mindlessly alive. It's engaged. Spread out the fingers. Breathe into this stretch. And then exhale and turn to the front foot. Place the hands down either side of the front foot. turn the back toes and you're in a runner's lunge. You're welcome to drop the back knee here. On an inhale, lift the heart, lift the gaze a little forward. Scissor the thighs together to support the posture. On the exhale, drop the hips down. You can drop the head a little, sink into those hips, open up the thighs. And again, inhale, brighten the pose, look forward. Scissor the thighs together as though you could support yourself without the need for the hands to be on the floor. And then the exhale relaxes you, tries to let these muscles lengthen and stretch a little more. Back knee can be dropped, remember. Good. And then we're going to come forward into a forward fold by rocking, get a little rock going. And when you're ready, push off with the back foot, step feet together at the front of your mat. You're back in a forward fold. Take a breath there, bending the knees, straightening the legs, lifting those hips up, sit bones to the sky, head down, and then rising up, either rolling up, or you can come up with a straighter back if you want to. Use the power of the legs. So the lumbar spine should not ache doing that. We don't want to be using our back to draw us up. Those core muscles will help that. And come back to Tadasana at the front of your mat. Notice if there's a difference between the left and right side. So we've worked one side. Let's do the other. Just having a little scan of the body, letting the breath settle. And then this time, your turn to your right. This is going to be the top of my mat, so I stay facing you. Nice big wide stride, and then turning the left toes to the top of your mat, just the right heel. Feel stable. Draw in those core muscles, tailbone is down. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, bend the knee. Warrior two. Good. And see what you can do to feel strong and courageous in this position. You engage those core muscles so you feel mighty, stronger, more stable. Okay, if it's bringing loads of tension into the body, see if you can play with that engagement to soften off the parts that don't need to work, the shoulders, the jaw. Lifting the chest, lifting down the arm. Good. Sink the hips a little more. Can you inch that front foot forward? Drop the hips down. And then inhale, bend the front elbow and come into your side angle. And this should be one long line between the back foot and the crown of the head. Not a curve, not a slump. Like a rod, a javelin into the ground. Breathing into the crown of the head, pressing into the outside edge of the back foot. Spin the heart a little more towards the sky. The gaze can always drop if it's uncomfortable on your neck. Everything's alive. If you want to, remember you can extend the top hand. Sometimes you can get into this posture deeper by bringing the hand to the hip, or that reminder of the hand on the heart, lifting the chest, the torso around, works better. One more breath. Exhale, turning to your front foot, framing the front foot, and turn into your lunge. Your runner's lunge, which you can stay in with the knee high, or you can drop the back knee, or you can work dynamically in and out of it. So inhale, lift the gaze, lift the heart. Exhale, drop the hips, drop the back knee as well if you want to. Feel the thighs moving apart. And again, inhale, scissor those thighs together, strong, lifting the gaze. Forward, focus. Exhale, into the stretch. Thighs relax away from each other. And this time we're not coming into a forward fold. Instead, we're going to turn to the side. So lifting that back knee, walking the hands round to the side of your mat. Let the feet turn. And having a look at the feet, we want the outside edges of the feet parallel to each other. This is your wide-legged forward fold. Bend the knees a little and sway the hips. Find your comfortable place. If you can heel-toe feet wider, great. If it's really painful on the thighs or hips, heel-toe the feet in a bit. Find where you get a little bit of work, a little bit of stretch, but you can stay there. And think about pressing the outside edges of the feet into the floor. That'll stop you being knock-kneed. Let's walk the hands forward today like you were doing a downward dog with really wide legs. Staying there for a breath. You can inhale, exhale, bending the knees and straightening the knees. And then what I want you to do is slowly start to walk the hands back towards you, taking the hips up into the air, bend the elbows, and maybe the head comes down towards the floor a little more. Remember, you can always adjust the position, heel-toeing in or out. So maybe the crown of the head touches the floor, maybe it's a foot away from it. Doesn't matter, we're trying to find your forward fold for today. Breathe into the back of the legs. Use the bending of the knees on the inhale, the straightening of the legs on the exhale. And then before we come up, let's heel-toe the feet a little closer together. Give you more stability for rising up. Pressing down into the feet, bend the knees. Remember, we want to use the power of the legs, not the backs for this. Start lifting the head. The hands could maybe come to the hips, or they could come out to the side. Think length, length, length in the spine as you push up with the legs to standing, and bring the hands down to the sides. Step the feet together and come back to Tadasana. And breathe. Good. Let the gaze drop or the eyes close. 2 more deep breaths. Scanning through the body, feeling what's happening. Good. Ready for your balance. Going to take tree pose with this core engagement. See if you feel more stable today using this idea. So left foot is going to be the standing foot first. Right toes balanced near to it. Hands can be at the heart or down by your side. Little flexibility in that standing knee. And when you're ready, taking the right foot onto the left leg. So it can come above the knee or below the knee, but not on the knee. Don't want the foot pressing into the knee joint. See if you can think about those core muscles. Okay, does that make you feel more sturdy, more stable? Don't let it bring tension through the rest of the body. Shoulders are relaxed. Tongue and the jaw stay relaxed. Crown of the head lifts towards the sky and the foot plants down into the ground. 2 more deep breaths if you can. Accepting the wobbles as lessons for what the muscles need to do. Last big breath. Exhale, the foot comes down to the ground, pressing into the ground. Feel nice and stable. Good. Shift the weight, swapping into the right foot, spreading, widening that foot, pressing it down into the earth. Left toes balanced nearby to start with. And establish your focus. That's going to help your balance. Bringing the hands to where is best for you. And when you're ready, lift that foot, place it onto the leg. If it doesn't want to stay where you place it, then take it lower. The toes could touch the ground if you want to. Today is about feeling that core engagement. Remember, it's around the back of the body, as well as the sides and the front. Feel that support. It is like you see with weightlifters when they put on one of those leather supports around their torso. That's what they're doing. They're adding that core support. Nice, deep, slow breath. Couple more if you can. Press down into the floor and feel that rebound rising up. Use that energy to hold you steady. And let it be an exhale where you place the foot down and feel that release. Good. Take a moment now in Tadasana to appreciate your leg muscles. Thank them for doing that work. Good. And bring the hands together at the heart. Facing the front of your mat, let's inhale, lift the hands up, and we're going to fold forward. So hands come together at the top, down the center, releasing the knees, letting the hands touch the floor, and bending the knees, easing yourself back to sitting. Right, now, what posture is the best, I think, for firing up those core muscles and knowing whether they're doing their job and assisting you is boat pose. So, had a little look at beginning options for this last time. You take it as deeply as you want to, but the important thing is to get the core working. So, not worried if it looks fantastic, but you're not using those core muscles, you're just going to wind up aching back tomorrow. So we're trying to keep these core muscles working as best we can. M shape with the body. Again, if this is really not right for maybe your coccyx, your back, you can do this on your back in bridge pose, but you must promise to use these core muscles when you're moving the knees and not just cheat. Otherwise, you're sitting up and we're going to balance back on our sit bones. So hands can stay on the floor or maybe hold the back of your thighs. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, rock back. Just feel that balance. Find that point of balance. If it's not there for you, take the hands to the floor. But we're not using the hands to keep us in this position. Guess what? We're using those core muscles. Okay, so release and relax. Hopefully that's given you an idea of the muscles that we're going to use. Now let's see if we can work in the pose a little bit. So inhale, lift the chest, keep that lift. Exhale, rock back, either holding on to the backs of the thighs, hands lightly on the floor, or now maybe you can take the hands away. Keep the breath going. What's happening with the feet? Can you flex the toes? That engages more muscles in the legs. Maybe lifting the feet so that they're level with the knees. Can you lift the heart? Okay, core muscles all working. Keep breathing. Push through the balls of the feet. So the toes are flexed, but we're pointing through the balls of the feet. One more big breath here. Lifting the heart. And exhale, coming back. And ease yourself down to lying. And hug the knees over the chest. Have a little rock and roll. Good. So I think probably most of you will have found your core muscles by now. If they're beginning to ache, maybe there was a little bit of a shake going on there, that's good news. Those are the muscles we want to use throughout our yoga practice to support the spine, make the posture stronger. Drop the feet down to the ground. And we're going to finish with our lying twist. Take the hands out to shoulder height, palms face up to the sky. Inhale, lift the knees up over the chest. And as you exhale, drop the knees over towards the right. I'll go the opposite way, but also lift the left hand and let that follow. So the left hand comes and closes palm to palm on the right hand, like you've closed. So the knees are staying on the floor now. Knees settle on the floor. On the inhale, open out that left hand and arm. Lift it up and over, allowing the top of your body to twist. Just as far as is comfortable for you, so that hand might not come back to the floor. Okay, if twists are not right for you, rest the hands on the hips so that you're in a half twist. You're getting some movement in the body, but you don't need to push it if you know you've got spinal issues or osteopenia. Breathe in, breathe out, trying to drop the shoulder down towards the floor. And then we can try the twist in a different way. So inhale, lift the knees to the sky. Exhale, place the feet down. This time, shift the hips a little over to the left before we go into the twist. We're going to keep the shoulders glued to the floor. Inhale, lift the knees up over the chest. Exhale, we're going the same way with the knees, dropping them over to the right, but we're keeping that left shoulder glued to the floor. The knees might not get all the way to the floor this time. Okay, so the upper body is straight and we're twisting the lower body. Maybe the feet touch down to the ground. Maybe you shift the hips a little. Maybe you've got a cushion or a block that you grab and place under the knees. And this is the point where if you want to, you could turn the head so the nose goes in the opposite direction to the knees. Full body twist. Breathe in and out, a couple more times. And then inhale the knees up to center. Exhale the feet to the floor. Shimmy the hips back in line with the shoulders, and we'll try all that on the other side. Inhale, lifting the knees up over the chest. Dropping them to the left as you exhale, bringing the right arm up and over, closing like a book, palm to palm. So this time, knees staying on the floor. They're resting on the floor in a comfortable position. As you inhale, you peel the hand away. The top arm floats up and over, taking you into the twist as far as is comfortable for you. So if the arm ends up floating in midair, and that's uncomfortable for you to stay like that, you can bring the hand to the floor. So it comes nearer the body. And you take that left shoulder, the right shoulder, for you, back towards the floor with every exhale. Okay, so this is keeping the bottom half of the body stable, twisting the top half. And I want you to see how it feels the other way round. So inhale, knees float back to the center, touch the feet to the floor, and shimmy the hips over to your right. Lift the knees up, inhale. Exhale, glue that right shoulder to the ground. Drop the knees over to the left, and they might not get to the floor this time. So top of the back is on the floor. Feel the twist, it's slightly different. Breathe in and out. You can turn the head away from the knees if you want to. Good. Let gravity take you down into this posture. Last deep breath on this side. Inhale, lifting the knees back up to the ceiling, placing the feet on the floor. Shimmy the hips back in line. So we want head, shoulders, hips, knees, ankles, all in one long line. And then take the feet, stretch the legs out, sliding the feet away. Lift the arms up overhead and have a full body stretch from the tip of your toes, tip of your fingers. Nice big stretch. And bring the arms back Over they go. Hands come down beside the hips, palms face up to the sky. And you can choose now to separate the feet, let the toes drop away from each other out to the sides and come into Shavasana, our corpse pose for relaxation. Or if the back feels like it would be more comfortable, bend the knees and drop the knees together. Feet stay placed on the ground. That flattens out the lumbar spine a little more. Check in with the chin. Is it slightly tucked so the neck is in line with the spine? Do you need anything under your head to support that? Are the hands and arms comfortable? Last wriggle and then allowing the eyes to close. And if you're in constructive rest pose, experiment with letting the knees touch together. See if that's more relaxed than holding them in place. We're going to scan through the body, inviting it to release and relax as we go. Checking all those muscles can have a rest now. Starting at the tips of your toes, inviting them to soften. Scanning over the sole of the foot, the tops, both feet, up around the ankles. Let the feet release. Checking in with the shins and the calves, letting them relax. Moving up to the kneecaps and behind the knees. Fronts of the thighs and the backs of the thighs. Big muscles there. Invite them to let go. Come up to the hips. Feel them spreading, softening down into the ground. Buttocks widening. Across the front of the abdomen, your tummy softens. Around the side. That lumbar spine area can release and relax. Thinking about the front of your ribs, feel them gently moving with the breath. Let them soften and relax, widen onto the back of the ribs. Feel the connection with the mat. And bring your attention up into the chest, the heart space. Feel that open. Across the back of the shoulder blades, wide on the floor. Supported. And then take your attention to the tips of your fingers and let relaxation spread down through the fingers, over the palms, around the backs of the hands, up through the wrists and the forearms, elbows and the upper arms. Around the armpits and over the tops of the shoulders, all around the shoulders. Let them drop away from the ears, drop back towards the floor. That relaxation spreading up now through the neck, over the throat and the back of the neck, up over the back of the head where it rests on the floor. Coming up around the jaw. Let there be a little space between the teeth. The tongue is soft in the mouth. The lips relax. Feel that over the bridge of the nose, spreading out over the cheeks. The eyes relax back in their sockets. Eyelids are lightly closed. Feel the eyebrows melting away from each other. And bring your attention to the center of the eyebrows, third eye. Deep seat of nourishment and relaxation. From this point, feel it spreading out across the forehead, all around the sides of the temples, over the crown of the head. And then like a wave washing down your body, feel relaxation flowing from the top of your head down to the tips of your fingers and the tips of your toes, washing away any last remnants of tension in the body, leaving you fully released and relaxed on your mat. Breathe into this relaxation. And use the breath, starting now to deepen the inhale. Feel energy coming into the body with every breath, starting to make small movements in your fingers and toes. Slowly stretching the limbs or rocking the head from side to side if you wish. Bringing the knees up over the chest for a hug if you like that, and a little rock and roll and massage. And then when you're ready, rolling onto your right hand side and resting there. And using your hands to press yourself back up to a seated position. Good. Bring your hands to your heart. We'll finish with a couple of deep breaths and an Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So inhaling as you take the arms out and up, touching together at the top. Exhaling as you bring them back to the heart. Sighing it out. And again, nice big energizing inhale. Sigh it out. Following my lead with the inhale. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Taking a bow to yourself and your practice, wishing yourself and others peace. Peace in the mind, peace in their words, peace in your heart. Namaste.